And we are live. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to episode 19 of the Relaxed Guardians podcast. I am your host this evening, Agni Kaikod, joined by Sebs. And our guest this evening, it's Kat. How you doing, boys?
Good.
Excellent. So,
I'm all good.
Kat, you're a Trials pro. We are Trials nubs. That's why you're on here. Here to enlighten us and everything, but we're going to quickly break down what's going on with the TWAB first, and we'll get into your questions and everything. And if any questions in the chat, we'll go from there. But yeah, let's start off with
introduce yourself, Kat. Man,
Yeah.
introduce yourself. Let's find out who you are first, and then we'll go into all that shit.
Yeah. So I'm Kat. I've been playing Destiny since pretty much the start of Destiny 2. I have never played Destiny 1, unfortunately. A lot of people criticize me about this like all the time. But yeah, I started playing Destiny because a mate of mine from work got me into it, and
Cool.
basically from there I was hooked, and I've been playing pretty much non-stop every day, hours upon hours per day.
Nice.
Yeah.
What do you
Gonna
main?
be streaming. Sorry.
What do you main? What character class?
I'd have to say Hunter is my most used.
That's the way.
But I do use the other characters as well. So I've been playing Warlock more often than not recently, as well as Titan. Titan's it's just too OP with the stasis subclass. So
Yep.
if you're not a Titan, then you're not.
You're doing it wrong.
Yeah.
No.
Well, so is it only PvP, or do you do the PvE side of this as well?
Oh, I do both. Yeah, I dabble in both. So me and my clan tried the day one raid. We were unfortunately unsuccessful. We spent 22 hours in the raid, and we were burnt out. Hey, it was challenging and it was good. Like, and it was a good experience. So I definitely would like to try it again. But yeah, like I did GMs with some clan members last season. We're looking to do the GMs that are coming up, the GMs that are out this week, as well as the ones that are coming up. Yeah, it's all exciting.
Yeah.
Nice.
So we tried the day one raid, and we just fucked. It was bollocks. It was stuck on 8 tracks for I think around 9-10 hours, and then
Yeah.
We were the same.
Yeah.
We were the same. So the first encounter, maybe like 30 minutes max, and that was Once we had done that, we were like, this is awesome. We're getting so far, and we were competitive at that point in time with the other top streamers that were on Twitch at the time. And then we got to Atrax, and we just couldn't get it. Hey, it just like again and again, it was like a slither of health each time. We just weren't understanding the strat to actually get it to work properly.
Yep.
And once we did, we nearly wiped. We nearly wiped, and then he died, and we were just like, oh my! I'm like, yeah, biggest relief. I think we all kind of like took a big deep breath and took some time off and ordered a pizza and had some food. We were done. Hey.
Yeah.
Because our guys fucked off, got the lament, because the PC players are already finished the raid. They buggered off, get all the laments, because that's what that came out on YouTube saying, yeah, the lament is the best strat, and we still couldn't fucking do it, man. It was savage. It was absolutely savage.
We still got our asses handed to us.
Cat, take your shirt off like Sevs or Riot.
No. You can sub to my OnlyFans, Monster Boy.
We have a guy in our clan who has his OnlyFans. He lost the bet. He had to make his OnlyFans.
Very proud of that bit.
So obviously we've had shit with trials. All the trials have been an issue and stuff like that over the last couple of weeks and stuff. But we'll go into that. Let me just quickly do these bloody nerfs. Fantastic Titan nerf and all that sort of shit. Look, we all know. Let's get this done quick, and then we get on to the better stuff. Grandmasters are out. The strikes difficulty is set to 1350 power. Minimum power required 1325. there is contest mode, so anything over 1325 is not going to help you at all. Each strike will have special modifiers to ramp up the difficulty, so make sure to inspect each one to know which champions. That's it, basically. We'll get rid of that.
Mm-hmm.
You will be getting adapt weapons with the adapt mods and all that sort of stuff. I think one was dropping, the big one or something.
Palindrome.
Yeah, well, the palindrome with the big mod, where it does the extra, it's like the boss mod or something like that. It does extra damage on people and shit like that. All right, here we go. Oh, well, I've actually lost wisdom nibs. There we are. Fucking fantastic. Warlocks get nerfed into the ground, and then it takes them so fucking long to do anything to anybody else. Right, Hunter. Shatter Dive. Remove damage resistance from Shatter Dive. So when you do Shatter Dive now, they do not get resistance, so they're just as squishy as anything. So you can shoot them as they start to Shatter Dive. Added a 4-second cooldown between activations of Shatter Dive as well, so you just can't spam the shit out of it. Withering Blades. Decreased Withering Blade damage against players from 90 to 65, which is absolutely phenomenal. PvE damage is unchanged. So they've decided to do all the nerfs only in PvP and none of the nerfs in PvE. Decreased Withering Blade slow stacks applied to players from 60 to 40 stacks. PvE slow stacks are unchanged, obviously. So they're saying now that if you get hit with the 2 Withering Blades, you will not be frozen. You will just be slowed up to 80% in the way I kind of read it. Decrease the target acquisition range of Withering Blades after impacts a player from 12 meters to 8 meters. Alright, here we go. Behemoth Titan, the fucking OP fucking Titan thing after the Warlock. Glacial Quake, removed AoE freeze against players on cast. Will still freeze PvE enemies. Reduce damage resistance while in super from 60 to 50. Increase the energy cost of using Shiver Strike while Glacial Quake from 3% to 7% super energy. Using the combo of a Shiver Strike into a heavy slam attack will now cost the full super energy of both the Shiver Strike and the slam. Previously only costed energy for the slam. Shiver Strike, increased downward velocity applied to Shiver Strike players when they are slowed to pull them out of the air more strongly. I am going to fucking clear what that means, because I don't play Titan. Kat, you know what that means?
So say that last bit again.
Increased downwards velocity applied to Shiver Strike players when they are slowed to pull them out of the air more strongly.
It would have to do with the shoulder charge of some sort. I'm not too sure exactly what it means.
You're our only link to Titan on this podcast. We've almost been none of us playing. All right, this is the Warlocks. Winter's Wrath. Improved tracking of Winter's Wrath projectiles. Now tracking strength decays from its max value over 10 seconds instead of 2.2 seconds. Increase the size of the Warlock super projectile proximity detonation radius from 1.5 to 1.6. The proximity detonation now starts at its largest and scales down to 40% over time. Penumbra Blast decreases Penumbra Blast damage against players from 80 to 30 damage. PvE damage is unchanged. Iceblade Bolts fix the bug where Iceblade Bolts would continuously try to switch targets. Increased target acquisition range of Iceblade Bolts by 33%. Increased turning speed of Iceblade Bolts so they can more effectively hit nearby targets. Chaos Reach decreased the amount of super energy refunded when cancelling Chaos Reach early. I don't know if that's going to affect anybody because usually we run Geomax. Dustfield Grenades. Reduced how strongly Dustfield Grenades pulls player inwards, effectively reducing the pull range from 9.5 to 6 meters.
Thank you. Thank you, fuck.
What?
Holy shit. Yeah. Holy shit, Dustfield Grenades are fucking trash. Oh my god, I'm sick of getting pulled out of fucking corners.
I don't use them. I literally don't fucking use them.
A goddamn Chaos Reach that shoots through fucking walls.
Well, that's the point of the fucking build, isn't it? Like I am playing within the parameters of the game allows me.
Yeah.
Is that? Are we sponsored by Mountain Dew? Are we?
We're sponsored by what's on my desk, all right? You don't ask where the money comes from. You just enjoy that you get paid.
Like, you have to turn it away, man. You have to turn it away so we don't get fucking sued. Like Coca-Cola owns fucking Mountain Dew, man. We'll get fucked over. Reduced slow stacks applied to players by grenade detonation from 20 to 10 stacks. Detonation slow stacks unchanged. Reduce the slow stacks applied to players on each tick of the grenade from 10 to 5. Adjusted the UI presentation of the slow status to display slow stacks as times 100 instead of times 10. Stateless crystals, reduce crystal shatter damage against players from 85 to 55 minimum. From 85 max to 55 min to 55 max to 25 min. So now your shatter die will do absolutely bugger all damage.
And the Titan slide.
Yeah, and that stupid uppercut fucking thing that they do. That's fucking just wrecks you.
Anything where you're shattering a crystal.
Yeah. Reduce whispers of chain damage resistance bonus 1 and super from 25 to 5%. Whisper torment, fix the bug, stasis fragment quest. There you go. Fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Done.
So, quick rundown. Warlocks are stronger again. Titans are weaker. Hunters are basically the same.
Well, yeah, kind of. So, Kat, what do you reckon of the stasis? What do you reckon of the overall thoughts of the stasis as it came into the game?
So, I think Bungie did it on purpose. They brought out a subclass that was well stronger than all the rest, and I think that was their selling point, to get people to buy Beyond Light, so they had the opportunity to use these new subclasses. And then with the sheer amount of complaints that everyone had, like PvE wise, it's fantastic. Like it's a great idea, great concept. You know, freezing your enemies when they're shooting at you. Can't think of anything more fantastic. Dustfield grenades in PvE, hands down one of the best grenades for like, hordes of enemies. In PvP, however, it was unbearable. I remember the first week that Beyond Light came out, and the Warlock's melee range was like 25 meters. So you'd be sitting halfway across the map, and then you just get frozen, and then you were frozen like everyone else. And it wasn't like that freeze that would just, you know, allow you to move straight afterwards. It was like, you're frozen, you have to break free. It was unbearable, and a lot of people complained. And if you weren't using the meta, which was stasis, then you weren't competitive, or like in a competitive nature. For the nerfs, however, I think like it's a long time coming. Like it's taken its time to get around, and they finally listened to the people and the adjustments that they've made. Hopefully, fingers crossed, nothing breaks in between now and then. But I think it's going to balance it to a degree. They just need to bring the light-based subclasses back up, I think.
Yeah. That's coming too. Like, eventually they're going to get the balance back up there where light-based classes can go toe-to-toe. But at this point, Stasis is still just... There's too much versatility in them. There's too much versatility with Stasis, with the way the class building actually works compared to the 3 trees you pick from.
Yeah, of course.
But eventually...
Yeah, I would imagine, why didn't they just turn around and make... I understand why, because it'd be a lot of fucking work, but they should have brought stuff out where you could have upgraded your other subclasses as well, instead of just leaving them in the fucking dirt.
Yeah, definitely just timed for development.
I think they were too focused on future content rather than content that's already there.
Yeah,
very likely as well. Yeah,
because there's an eruption on Twitter, there's an eruption on Facebook, there's an eruption on everything that I fucking read. Get rid of stasis, get rid of stasis. But it's come like it makes people think that yes, people will use stasis, so I am gonna build a build will combat stasis. Like since stasis come out, the Chaos Reach build came out. So that thing shoots around fucking corners, shoots through walls, and then you can get it back 5 times.
Yeah.
A game in PvP if you got the right build. Yeah. Without the damage, without the shit that Stasis brought to the game, you wouldn't have had these extra builds, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, it caused evolution and adaptation, which is good.
we'll ask that later, Vince. Sorry, there's questions coming in. We'll ask those later.
Yep.
Yeah, like, because the Behemoth is ridiculous. Because because I was looking at your stream this morning, or whenever the last stream that you were on, I would imagine last night, and you played a Titan.
Mm-hmm.
But that Behemoth Titan, you get killed by a Behemoth Titan, you get spawned, you get killed by the same Behemoth Titan, and then you spawn again on the other side of the map, and then you get killed by the same Behemoth Titan.
You're not wrong. There's also an artifact mod at the moment that I'm glad that no one has really taken much thought to it, but it's a mod that for Titans is like unbearable. I know one person that uses it, and I've versed him multiple times. This person will get his super 4 to 5 times per control match. Like just like that is how ridiculous it is. I can't remember the name of the mod, but it's on the final column. It's like Stasis Inheritance or something. Basically, the kills you get in Stasis will regen you super energy. So the more kills you get, the more super energy you get back. So if you're running at 100 intellect and you're running a Behemoth Titan, you can shoot across the map, get your kills. Then by the time you've killed 2 more people, you've got your super again. So it's like playing Mayhem. You know, it's insane. Absolutely insane.
We just had somebody shout, "Do not name the mod," because everybody will fucking have the mod.
Yeah.
Chat's on like a 15-second delay, so
yeah, we get them later. So you do everything. You obviously play PvP, as I saw you stream today. Like, what draws you to trials? What draws you to PvP and all that sort of stuff? What do you like about these different types of games?
I have been in FPS, like, I don't know. I've had a love for FPS games for a long time, ever since I think the first Call of Duty started to come out. Like, it was just the sense of competition. You know, I guess shooting someone in the face is pretty
super satisfying.
Just satisfying. And like, once you beat someone that you're up against, you're like, I got him. Then your profanities over your microphone and hope that nobody hears, and get on with your day. But like, for me, I think it was like the slow progression of playing. When I first started playing like Destiny 2, I didn't touch PvP at all. I think I started to dabble in PvP when I was getting like bum rushed by the Not Forgotten in early Forsaken, I think it was. And that thing was like out of control. It was only the best of the best, like at that point in time, was like they could get the Not Forgotten. And I was like, I need to get this gun. Like, I need to do something to make myself better to get this gun. Like, this is obviously high tier, and it was high tier reward for those players that could get it. And it just made them stronger, I guess.
Yeah.
So that at that point in time, I was probably like a 0.6 KD efficiency over everything, and I just started to learn of friends that were better, and it just made me want to do better and keep getting better at the game.
That's awesome,
right? Because obviously, because it was Lunar Hell was the original, the first one, wasn't it? That's where you got recluse, and then obviously that one. But do you think they should bring more than I like personally? I've started getting into, since I've met Prod and Monster and stuff like that. We've started getting into more and more trials and more PvP. Do you think they should bring those adept weapons back? Like, I'm classing them as adept weapons, but like significant weapons for a PvP class, because they seem to have done it, and everybody tried to get them, and everybody were paying money to get them and stuff. But do you think they should bring more of the similar type of weapons that are so hard to get to and push people towards PvP?
That's a good question. Hey, like, I think weapons, if they're at that point, like where if they're kind of I'm going to say locked in quotations behind an achievement of like hitting max rank on comp for legend. Not everyone can get to that point, and some people do require help, and some people just like to play comp for the pinnacles or whatever that you get, and that's it, and that's all their PvP is. But if these weapons are to the point where it's only like it shifts the meta again, then it's obviously going to be more desirable for everyone else. I do think a ritual weapon in each game mode is good, but I think it needs to be achievable for all players. No matter like for the better players, they'll obviously get it quicker. For the players that aren't PvP fans, they can get it, but it's just like a gradual time for them that they need to get 70 kills with 70 weapons, do 70 matches. It might take them a bit longer.
So you prefer the way the weapons are working now with like Adored and Salvage as Salvo, where it's just keep playing and you will get there instead of just a goal that you have to eventually hit. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. It just allows everyone to be on the same playing field with the same weapons.
Yeah, and like you said, better players are obviously going to get it faster. That's neither here nor there. Either way, they're going to get it. Yeah. Okay.
That's a fairly different outlook to most of the guys out there, because you always get the guys, well, we want this back. But I like, now you explain there, like I kind of understand that. Yes, it should be open to everybody, because like at the end of the day, this is a game that's open to everybody to play it. I like that. That's a good outlook on it's a good outlook on it.
Yeah.
So I've just got all these questions running through my mind. I just don't want to spurt them all at you at the one time, because I'm trying to order them in my fucking head. If you got a question, I can go for it.
Okay, with Trials being deactivated twice now, besides the whole fix the recovs thing, how do you think that they can possibly salvage this game mode? Because no one is liking it at the moment.
I was going to leave that big one, until the fucking end.
Well, you asked a damn question.
Like, holy shit! Just come up with the big fucker. Yeah, go for it. Yeah.
All right. Where do I start? The idea of a card-based game where it requires you to win game after game after game. Yeah, is it competitive in this state of the meta? Probably not. I don't know. I feel like Trials initially in D1, like the problem is everyone goes back to the state of Trials in D1. Everyone's like, oh, it was so easy, so much better. The weapons were better. Look, I never played D1, so all I can say is what Trials was in D2. It's good. Elimination is bad.
Yeah,
like the way that. Like elimination is not a competitive game mode. You're better off playing a game mode like Search and Destroy, or like something different, like, or even have like a rotating like a playlist of game modes, because elimination just isn't it. Like, you get done by something stupid when you're playing the game, and at that point in time, most people just like have enough and just quit and just like, I'm never going to touch Trials again. But if you give people the opportunity to play a different game mode, it might entice people to be like, hey, it's Countdown. I think Countdown was with the bombs.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, it's Countdown this weekend, or it's something else like that. That to me sounds more enticing. I'm fairly sure other players would find that more of an enticing game mode to go into.
Yeah, so we had Countdown and Survival when Trials of the Nine launched at the start of D2. And that was 4-man as well, not 3-man. Do you think that didn't work because it just wasn't Trials of Osiris at the time? And people were wanting, like, I know you didn't play Destiny 1, but people were just asking for what they wanted, what they had in Destiny 1. They just didn't want to accept this new form. But now that we've got the old one back, we don't like it again. Do you think going to another Trials of the Nine sort of way of rotating players and everything could work? Or
I have one answer. Trials of the Nine didn't work because of the double primary meta.
Yeah. Okay.
Like double primaries, pointless. Mm-hmm. Like I don't know why they even thought that was a good idea to start the game off in that that state. I think that those game modes in this current state of Trials might be interesting. Like why not test it? Why not run like test servers? That people can if they're streamers, if they're not streamers, just say, hey, this is a test server for this new iteration of Trials.
Yeah.
try it out, and then vote for it. Like, let the community be the voice of what they want for the game, instead of the developers being like, we're giving you this, shit-plated, plate of trials. I hope you enjoy it, and all you see is like the state of trials is arse. I don't want to play it, blah blah blah. And you just see like the first weekend when they've got like new weapons, armor that come out, and everyone's like, oh, this is something I really want to try to achieve. You'll see the stats of like how many players are playing, and it would like shoot up to like hundreds of thousands. And then might be a shitty weekend. You might get a rocket launcher, a fusion rifle, and a sword, and then a bond or like a class item for your flawless loot. And everyone's just like, what's the point of playing? There's nothing to entice you to stay in that playlist. So
because it's for, I would imagine, a good 80% of Destiny, the flawless run is completely unattainable. So it pushes up the hack cheat and all that sort of stuff. Do you think that's just working within the bounds of trials, or do you reckon that's just fucking everything up?
As in like cheats?
Yeah, well, the hack cheats, or where people would go with a hack emblem.
The hacker emblem.
The win trading. Yeah.
But like the gentleman's, like I don't want to call it a gentleman's win trading but it's not the win trading where people make money off the fucking thing. It's you coming in and go, oh yeah, make mates and all that.
So I had a discussion with some of my clan members a few weeks ago, and I had this ideology of what I think trials would be like if they could change like one thing, and it's relatively simple. So flawless loot is what everyone tries to achieve, and a flawless loot might be an adept weapon, for instance, like the adept messenger or the adept igneous hammer, like really desirable weapon. For the guys that can't go flawless, let them choose another bounty that's not a card that costs 25k glimmer and however many shards. Let them buy an expensive bounty that might be, say 3,000 or 5,000 glimmer for the bounty, some legendary shards, maybe even some like enhancement cores or prisms or whatever. But that then is something that they can work towards to get the flawless loot. So instead of them being like, I can never get flawless, I can never be able to get this new adept messenger, it could be like you need 500 kills with a pulse rifle in trials, and you've got 4 days to achieve that. Realistically, that's not much. Like if you're playing for 4 to 5 hours a day over the weekend,
you could do it.
I think that's achievable, and people will actually put in effort to be like, let's get a team together. Let's actually, go towards this bounty, and then actually get the weapon in the end. So, I think that if they brought in that or implemented that, I think that'd work pretty well.
Yeah, well, it could just have a standalone bounty that kind of rolls over from week to week. So they pay for it up to the cost of it. Just I don't think anybody would question it, even if they turn around and goes, it's 50,000 glimmer, it's 100 shards, it's the other crap, but have it over a certain period, maybe throughout the whole season, and then once that comes up with not a very good roll, you could obviously do it again. And I think that's a great idea.
I think that would work. Like give it like the same sort of length, like the time duration of a like a seasonal bounty, I guess. But allow the players to get a new one each week, but the old one would have to be finished. You know what I mean? So it's just like it pushes those players back into the playlist to be like, if I don't get this one done this week in trials, then I won't be able to get the next one next week. So it's really focusing those players to come back into the playlist to keep those new teams coming in.
Yeah.
Savage V just asked a question. Now I'm gonna answer it. I'm gonna ask his question because otherwise it's gonna get lost. The fact that they said 50% of the people that played trials went flawless and it seemed too high. What is the percentage that they are aiming for? So that's a pretty good question. What are they aiming for? Because obviously Trials is predominantly for sweats. Without a doubt, it is for hardcore PvP players. So if you've got, what did Monster say? There was 2.4% of the 500 base across all three platforms. So you're looking at fucking 150,000. So 75,000 people gone flawless. What do you reckon their assumption of how many people should go flawless weekly? I know it's an out there question.
It's hard to give you a number. Like saying 50% of the player base should be able to go flawless. It completely depends on the player base that they're trying to be there in the time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I can't gauge just to say the average KD for most people is like, you know, a positive KD, because I don't know that answer. But if that was the case, and the average was say at a 1 KD, then it is possible for people to, you know, for that percentage to rise. Like Trials, you said it's sweats, it is, but it's not unobtainable for everyone. People go up against people and see names when they're in the playlist and they're like, oh no, it's this guy, you know, we're going to lose. It's, you know, if you already go into Trials in that mentality, you're never going to win that game mode. You know, and I think there was a few questions previously in the stream that, you know, asked about team playing and that sort of stuff that we can go into later if you like.
Yeah, well, because me and Agrikai and another guy, Seiko, we set up our own team, and then we come across like the sweatiest tanks. One was called Prod, one was called I can't remember the other guy, but we fucking rolled them. They won one game, and we just rolled Prod into the ground. He was shit. Hopefully, he's in the chat because he fucking won. Him and who was the other guy? I can't remember who
Lily.
the other guy was though. Lil. And we fucking rolled them.
Yeah,
we just fucking.
To be fair, Lil had beaten us like 3 the night before, fucking hard. But it's like you said, if we'd gone into that game and went, oh, we're just gonna lose again, we would have lost. But we didn't even realize who we were versing until like the second round. We just went, it's another team, whatever. I don't even look at the screen when it's like doing that little introduction thing.
Because he did cheat. He started to stream. He started like stream snipe. So he jumped into Agnikai's stream and then tried to beat us that way.
Yeah, and we still beat him.
It's funny. It's funny that you say that about Lil, because I have Lil coming into my streams, and every time I come against him, he's just like, oh shit, it's Cat. Oh fuck. I guess that's the food chain making its way.
Oh, dude, we are way down there. Don't worry about that.
It is like we had a few. We had Monster on, and he was giving us some tips and tricks. I mean, it is learning the map, learning the calls, learning not to run away, learning all that team player, and you should get there in theory, but you always get the anomaly where you just get that one fucking amazing player on the other fucking side, and he just wipes the fucking floor.
Yeah,
he's everywhere. He's behind you, he's above you, he's fucking below you, he's just in your fucking pocket, shooting you from your pocket. So, what's I gonna ask? Fuck, my mind is racing now, and I can't fucking think. So they started bringing out. So they decided now, after all this hack thing, it seems to have pushed them into really thinking about the state of Trials. So they decided now that they're gonna bring. There's gonna be a reason to keep your 7+ wins, to keep going on the card instead of just win like that. You first win, leave, get rid of your card, do the win again, do the win. It's like that. Farm that one win. Do you reckon that's going to be help Trials in the end?
Keep people going towards flawless.
It depends. It depends on what's desirable after 7, because for most players, 7's the lighthouse. Once you hit the lighthouse, it's either change characters, start again, or reset. You know, depending on what you want. Realistically, like I think when it was the Igneous Hammer weekend, I was like, I need this gun. Like this gun is like insane. So I did all through my characters, and then I was like, I need to go again, and to lock that behind like that 7, you're always going to get the sweats at some point in time, sweats in quotations, to come back to the start of the game and then just roll you. So you might be on like a 4-5 win card, and you're like, yes, I've gotten through, the shit kickers in the bottom of the pile, and then you get up to 5, and we might match on 1, but because of the way that its algorithm is and the way that it matches people, we might be versing you on that, that 5th win. That we might, you might have your mercy gone, and you're like, shit, we've literally just lost this whole entire card, and that's normally like a good 30 to 40 minutes, maybe even more, depending on how long the matches go, of time that you have to just reset.
A big problem people keep coming up with is the fact that if I don't go flawless or I don't hit the 3 to 5 wins, I've just wasted all my weekend. Like, I could have raided, I could have done Grandmasters now. Like, what's the point in me trying to lose at Trials for 6 hours?
Because when we were first doing it, when obviously Trials was still working, you'd roll in, and then you could see them already gone like 100 flawless on your first card. Yeah. And I'm like, I've still got fucking green guns. Just fucking throw my gun at you.
Yeah, that's got to be a population thing though. Like, there has to be a reason to rebuild the population, and then I think matchmaking can be tweaked and properly balanced.
Yeah. I agree.
Because they're now thinking about bringing not connection based, KD based, aren't they? They can try and skilled matchmaking now, if they can.
That's been called out a few times. Who knows what their actual thought process is behind it, or what they're actually going to do at the end of the day.
Even if they bring in SBMM or like skill based matchmaking, it's going to be difficult because the player population is so small.
Yeah,
they have to boost that population back up to make it effective. Otherwise, you'll literally verse the same teams again and again and again and again, and it's like, who wins out of it? You might have one game that goes for 25 minutes, and you just like, it's 5-5s down to the buzzer beater, on the point. Those games are frustrating because you spend so much time and effort on doing one of them. You're just like, I don't want to do that again. It might just be a rinse repeat all out to 7 wins if you get there.
Yeah. Speaking about frustration, sorry, go ahead, Sam. So you got a question?
Because you'd have because you'd be lowering the pool again. Because if you turn around and goes, whoever goes flawless goes into a separate pool. Mm-hmm. I don't know if they'd be able to do it. How much hassle that would be. So if you've gone flawless, you go into a different pool, and then that will allow other people to come up the ranks, go flawless, and then they get transferred into another pool. I don't know how hard that would be, but at least let the guys get their wins. Make it, obviously you'll have the harder sweat at 6 and 7 possibly, but then it goes into another pool type of thing. So you got 2 pools, guys who haven't gone flawless that week, guys who have gone flawless that week. I wonder how hard that would be to
people will probably just stop playing after the flawless, because as soon as you get the flawless once, you just be like, I'm just gonna be playing people who have been trying hard for the past 6 hours to get to this lobby. Like, why do I want to go into this again?
Because then, how would you balance that if you're trying to do help as well? Like, say, a lot of people do like stream carries or carries, and if it's like, all right, I'm gonna carry someone that hasn't been flawless this weekend. Does it go to the lobby or the matchmaking of people that haven't been flawless with 2 guys that are really good and 1 person that's the carry, or do you get into the sweat pile, and then now you're basically playing a 2v3?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I didn't think of that, actually, to be honest.
It's also like part of gilding the flawless triumph, isn't it? Title is carrying a non-flawless person that week to the lighthouse for the first time ever. So that's another thing. It's like,
I think that's just, it's only for the season, so they've changed it.
Okay.
I think first time flawless ever is a little bit difficult because a lot of people have gone flawless at least once. But I think they reset it every season. Yeah. Okay. So a lot of people are asking.
I will give myself up as a bounty to get into flawless.
A lot of people are asking, especially with skill-based matchmaking, when you get into a situation where you get super frustrated how do you keep yourself calm and in the moment and not let it all get to your head or get tilted or whatever? How do you keep yourself going and not just quit out?
I normally have a break.
Yeah.
I like to listen to music while I play. Like, it doesn't have to be too loud, but it kind of just drowns out the frustrations that I end up having.
Okay.
So it depends. Like, if I'm getting frustrated, it's not because of the people that I'm playing. It's because of the way that I'm playing.
Okay.
And I feel like people tend to forget that, and when they get frustrated at the game, they're not frustrated at the other player. They're frustrated at the way that they're playing and how they couldn't figure out a way at that point in time to beat that other person. That makes sense.
Okay, that's fair.
It's a way better answer than I was expecting.
Yeah. So your tactics within game. So I would imagine obviously you got tactics for if you play obviously 6-man, 3-man comp, or your 3-man trials. Is your tactics the same, or have you got individual tactics for each one?
Oh, they're completely different. 6v6 is chaotic, and you just try your best to. I like, for me, I just try my best to not be in the herd, but have the herd close, if that makes sense. So like the whole point behind it is like you obviously want to. It's a team-based game mode, I guess. Cap the points, get the kills, whatever it may be, if there's control or clash. But if you want to do well, and I think see yourself rise as a player, you want to be able to get your 1v1 engagements down pat. You want to be able to learn how to get the kill against one other person instead of one versus a whole team. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And once you figure that out, you can then adjust to 1v2s, and then like for me, from 6v6 for me is chaotic. I try to stay away from the herd enough to, I guess, bring that team or like the enemy team closer, but still have the opportunity to move around and like find their weaker links that are like outside or sniping from afar. Comp, a little bit different. So because of the lives aspect and like losing lives, it's if you get picked first, you got to use that momentum to then push and then continue to drop those lives on the other team so you actually win the round. And then trials, it's very much wait for the enemy team to make a mistake and then capitalize. A lot of people like to mix those mentalities of 6v6 or comp into trials, and that's where they get unstuck because they're not used to, they might bum rush someone with a shotgun out from 20 meters away, and any smart player would just look at their radar and go, okay, this guy's coming from this direction. I'm going to backpedal a little bit, find some cover, and then see what he's going to do. 9 times out of 10, someone that's that aggressive is probably not witty enough to go, all right, these guys are already set up waiting for me, if that makes sense.
Okay.
Do you, Vince was like, do you prefer to play aggressive or defensive? Now, I know your stream. I've seen your stream, and to me, you're very, very aggressive. Is that situational?
I like to, I guess, like I was saying, like find the opportunity. So most trials matches will win off first pick. So if you've got a good sniper on your team, that first pick is detrimental. It'll allow the team to then push engagement because that other team now has a life down, and the only way they can get that other person up is to be on that orb. So being aggressive in that point, yes. It's really finding that weak link or that player that's not with the herd, taking control of them, taking them down, and then watching the others kind of scatter to realize that they're not all together. That's what breaks team composition, and ends up having people come unstuck and losing rounds and losing games.
Okay. Is there certain set points on each map that you will? Obviously, you start a spawn. Do you just like, all right, we have to go to this bit, that's where we stay, and that's where our first initial attack is?
So I like to call them defaults. Basically, they're the common first lanes of most maps. So, for instance, a default on Endless Vale will be the first corridor that links A to C, and it goes, it has B to the left hand side. You got that like little toilet area that goes down to the right hand side. That there's like a default, so you'll normally see two snipers or people go to that lane really quickly to start that initial pick. So there's normally defaults on every map that you'll go to see if the enemy players are spawning. You're going to like rush that point, because the enemy players tend to look for the first point of where a fight's going to be, and they'll want to get there first, and then that fight then commences, and then whatever ends from there, I guess.
Okay, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So, do you play with the initial team? Have you got a certain set trials team, or do you do carries? Do you do like help out? I'm not going to say carries, but helps.
I have done help in the past on stream. I've kind of stopped that a little bit now, and it's more along the lines of I'll try to help guys in my clan that want to go flawless, and then if other people want to play, I'll then help them out. I feel like help at this current point in time is quite difficult, just because stasis in the way that the game's played in a very standoff mode of hold and wait for your super, and you're literally just playing people that sword peek and don't rush an engagement, don't push any gunfights, throw grenades, wait till someone's frozen, and then push the engagement. It's a real stale way to play the game, and I think taking someone with you that is not as good in PvP game mode becomes very difficult. It's very hard to teach someone to say don't push them, because they're not necessarily got the situational awareness of being like, I expect these guys to push this way or aggress this way, have that idea. But yeah, my trials team tends to be guys that I play with my clan, and then some other guys that I'm mates with.
Sorry, mate, I'm gonna have to interrupt you because we have. Does it take you this long? Do you just wake up good looking? That's not the monster. Do you work at it or anything like that? Because like, chat is gonna absolutely smash with how like
how good looking you are.
What's your regime for getting up in the morning? Mate? It's like have a shower, sort yourself out, bit of makeup on, because like for some reason everybody in chat wants to fucking know about this.
I don't know. Well, I'll wake up, have a shower, have a shave, and go to work.
There we are. Awesome. There we are, guys. That's you hear the first. Cap doesn't have to do much. No, well, we never had such a good-looking guest. There we are. Awesome. All right. So
it's because we're always hosting.
Vince,
people get intimidated.
Sword peek or three peeking is where you either emote or you pull a sword out, and it gives you a third person view, and it allows you to go around corners and look at certain maps, certain parts of the map that you wouldn't be able to see at first person.
It gives you an advantage of seeing something without actually exposing your body, so you can get shot at.
Yeah.
So someone asked earlier, do you prefer laneway design maps, so like Call of Duty design where it's 3 lanes, left, right, middle, or do you prefer the Destiny 2 launch maps, I guess I'll call them, where they're just like big old squares with a bunch of shit in the middle of it, and it's like you can just basically go anywhere?
I think linear maps are terrible. For instance, Convergence, like worst designed map in the history of any map of any game. I hate Convergence so much. It is to the point where in Convergence, right, you'll spawn on each of those blocks on the outside of the map behind A and behind C. It takes you 10 to 15 seconds to get to the center of engagement, and if that engagement doesn't go well, you're going back to the start.
Yeah,
it's another 15 seconds of running back to an engagement. Yeah. It's pointless. It's like a terribly designed map.
Yeah.
I think the maps that the sweaty players like to play, they're off center and they kind of have maybe U-shaped or maybe like S-shaped, which have certain corridors that allow a gunfight, but also have a way that you can actually rotate and move to the opposite spawn. I think those maps are the best design ones by far.
Yeah, I've spoken to people back in my Call of Duty days. They're always like, if I don't get just a Treyarch fucking design map where it's like I can take left lane and snipe, middle lane and shotgun, or my right lane's my flank, and they all have to be designed that way. They can just look different. It never transferred for me to Destiny, and when I finally came over to Destiny to play that, I was like, I can just go anywhere. Like, there's people all over the place. I can jump on things. I can get to other spots. It's a totally different way of thinking and playing.
I think that comes down to COD is normally feet on the ground. You're just running and gunning, and doing that sort of style of game.
Mm-hmm.
Where Destiny, it's like you might be in the air, you might be on the ground, you might be sliding or Icarus dashing or whatever. So it really changes the way a map needs to be played, and I hope to God, like fingers crossed, they actually bring out a good bunch of new maps in the next coming seasons, because I'm out dry with the ones that I've got at the moment.
I think we all are.
Do you think they should? We were discussing this a couple of weeks ago. Do you reckon they should bring a map sandbox in? So what they call it in Halo, the Forge.
Yeah.
Where you could turn around and design your own map, play that map, do a vote, grid, we get this fucking map in the game.
I think that would be a good idea, but they'd have to separate it. Like, say for instance, I think it's Fortnite's creative mode, where they have like a mode where you can build, your own, set up your own map, and then have that like on its own server, so people can then join it and then play it, and then cast a vote for that to be in like maybe a monthly rotation. I don't think bring them in like forever, because I just don't think that would work properly.
Mm-hmm.
But definitely like give the opportunity for the community to make a map that people might like to play, and then allow them to play if they want to, like in a private setting, and then have it whichever one wins for the month, put that in for the next month's highlighted map for the for a weekend or a week, whatever.
So what's your usual? Does the map indicate what your loadout is? Because the stream I saw you today, you had Shorty, Ignis Hammer, and then I think I possibly may have seen the Messenger at some stage. Does it change, or do you just go, this is what I got, this is what I'll use, there is nothing else?
So it depends. If it's a long laned map, I'd like to have at least the opportunity to use a longer ranged weapon. So I'd normally snipe. Say like Radiant Cliffs is a really good sniper map. Widow's Court's a really good sniper map.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to think of a few others. Rusted Lands is a decent sniper map.
Mm-hmm.
But my loadout will tend to change on the map and how it is played, as well as how I'm feeling. Like, I don't always just use a hand cannon shotty or hand cannon sniper. Like, I enjoy using the Iron Banner SMG that they brought out like a month ago, the repurposed, was it Multimac CC something or other? That thing's amazing. That thing is so much fun. It absolutely shreds. So yeah, it really depends on how I'm feeling at the time.
Okay.
Yeah, because I've started using the Icalos SMG. Like, I got a God Roll PvP on that, and it surprisingly does really well within PvP. I got at least 2 or 3 kills with it.
Nah, it's like I agree. Like, I just think if you're gonna use a weapon that's something that you want to try, say an SMG, you want to have something that complements it, depending on the size of the map and how it's played. For sure. So
run us through, if you would though, run us through your usual setup. So if you can remember this, if you can't, don't worry about it. Like, is there any specialized mods? Obviously there'll be targeted mods and all that sort of shit. So you've got your weapon loadout, your mod loadout, for any of the guys who kind of want to do builds and stuff. Yep. If you can remember it, because it'll be a fucking lot to remember.
Yeah. So I have traction on all my characters. I think I can bring up my my Destiny right now into this Zoom call if you wanted to see it.
Sure.
Oh yeah, Christ, yeah, it'd be amazing.
Yeah.
As you're doing that, do you think Fell Winters is a fucking pain? Because I got people asking about Fell Winters, like.
it's a very good shotgun. I think it's probably overused to the point where it's the only shotgun that people want to use. If they change the way that shotguns work, is in like quick draw on every shotgun is kind of silly. And you only want to go with high, aggressive frame shotguns because they do the most one-hit kill damage. If they change the way that they worked, I think it'll stop the Fellwinter's abuse that people tend to have.
Yeah, okay. That's cool.
Okay. Yeah, Fellwinter's is getting a nerf. Apparently, the start of next season. We'll see what that means. But at this point, we're not really sure.
Fellwinter's is B.
I'm not sure.
Yep, we can see it.
Fucking amazing.
I'm not sure if you can see this all right, but
so great.
this is just my warlock at the moment. So for my helmet, I'll have a targeting mod of some sort, and then it depends if I like on what I want to change my build around. That I'd put like a discipline mod on it. For my gauntlets, I have to have a reloader mod. Hand cannons, like any 120s, reload incredibly slow, and it's really hard to just to use it without one. For my chest piece, unflinching, like all the time. In PvP, reserves not needed. Like you don't need reserves at all. And then I'll normally have so for these two items, I'll have taking charge and high energy fire. So this allowing me to pick up an orb of light to then allow me to have extra damage. Those are two mods that I like to pretty much stack on all my characters. For my boots, like I said, traction is like a must.
Mm-hmm.
I'll normally swap between a sniper or a shotgun scav, and just depending on what the map might be. Powerful friends, like one of the most underrated mods if people aren't using them at this point in time. 20 plus mobility on your build is insane.
Yeah.
And then same with Radiant Light. So I normally have these two mods stacked up against each other, as well as the way that these work. So when you become charged with light, your teammates become charged with light if they have powerful friends. And then with Radiant Light, when you cast your super, or I think when nearby guys that charge their super as well that have this mod on, you become charged with light. So it kind of like allows that taking charge and high energy fire to continuously be there. So I like to run Top Tree Dawn and Top Tree Storm Trance, probably two of my favorite subclasses on Warlock. I hate the Warlock stasis; it just sucks. And the Nova Bomb, I'm inconsistent with it, so I don't tend to use it.
Nova Bomb needs some love in PvP.
Like this is a fantastic subclass. The Devour subclass. Just the Nova Bomb sucks. Like I've thrown it on a behemoth or on a super, like at my feet, and it tickles them no more than a grenade does, and which is ridiculous. Yeah. Like this would be fantastic if the Nova Bomb like sucked them in and then like engulfed them. Like that would be amazing. Like this one then tracks and follows. If this brought them into that vortex, and like it's kind of like a dome grenade but for void, that would be amazing.
Yeah.
Like that's a good, like that's a very well thought out build, isn't it? That this will give you this, and this will give you this, and this will give my teammates to give them the ability to plus it and all that sort of stuff.
Back as well.
Yeah.
This is the sort of stuff that we just don't think about, and then we go into trials and go, well, we got 3 wins, we must be doing something right. But the more I think about it, the more like we fucking fluked. Like exactly. Against guys, like I'm pretty sure we've played you before as well. Like, for sure, your team must be just going in like so well thought out, and we're just like, oh, we got our guns. If I hit super, I hit super.
Because Kat, your the symbol for your what is your clan, or what clan are you in?
So Space Friends.
Space Friends.
Yeah,
because they're the ones with the pitchfork.
It is. It is a pitchfork.
Because we've come against pitchfork people.
Yes, I have. I've seen many pitchforks.
You usually see them when they fucking kill you, and then like they run over you and emote in as they fucking run past you. Like,
teabagging everywhere they go.
Yeah, fuck it. Space Friends represent.
It's something that me and my my partner Savage, who's probably in your chat, gobbing off. But yeah, we started that probably Forsaken era, and it's had a few name changes, but it's become Space Friends for probably about a year now, and we're really like amazing community. Like I love all Space Friends. They're just such great guys, and
that's cool. That's amazing.
Yeah, it's a nice little family community we got going. So
I'll be honest,
they seem to be pretty good at the game.
We've shouted some horrible profanities from our end of the mic after you've killed us. We're not going to lie, it's been bad.
What I want though is that 5 seconds, like 5 seconds of death, like death.
You want the death chat
in COD? The death chat. Oh fuck you! God damn! That's like 15 times you fucking killed me, though.
Yeah. I'll quickly run through the build that I got running on my Warlock. Yeah, so it's a little bit skew for the moment. So all characters have their own intrinsic. How do I put it? So for your class, so Warlock, their rift is their class item. Not their class ability. Sorry. So for anything to do with a Warlock, you want to have high recovery, so you get that rift back as soon as possible. So as you can see there, it says class ability cooldowns for 41 seconds. That's the max you can get it on Warlock. But my recovery on every character should be maxed out, like no matter what. If you're playing PvE, if you're playing PvP, recov's like the highest. And then for PvP, mobility doesn't matter if you're on a Warlock or if you're on a Titan. Pointless. Anything over 5 is not necessary. For a Hunter, 10, because the highest you can get it on a Hunter, because their class ability is based on their mobility. So the higher your mobility, the quicker you get your dodge back. Titans, it's resilience. So the higher your resilience, the quicker you get your barricade back. But resilience at minimum, I'd say 4, 5. 5 is like a base that you kind of want on most characters. Recov maxed. Discipline for me on a Warlock, I tend to have high, and I like to have it high. And it'll obviously change the way like it'll work. So I have high discipline when I put on my Ophidian aspects, and my intellect. Like a lot of people speak out intellect for super, but I enjoy gunplay, not ability play. So I tend to leave that at a normal state. And then strength for a Warlock, I like to have it relatively high, because Withering Blades little celestial fire is pretty OP and works really well.
Okay, that's amazing. That's a very well thought out build. That is into the nitty gritty. Like, I'm going to pick this because this gives me this. I'm going to do this because this gives me this. And then the mods will emphasize your stat build. And then your super will emphasize the mod build. And then obviously it's down to skill at the end of the day. Well, gunplay and skill and stuff like that. High strength.
Yeah, of course.
Oh, that's good. So what you run on your... Is it near enough the same build, like mod-wise, for your hunter?
Show you.
Sorry, man.
That's all right. That's all right. I'm more than happy to go through it.
I'm so curious on this shit. I take it you got a PlayStation 5 though.
I do.
Yeah, we'd be here a whole
Are you controller? Are you controller or keyboard?
I'm a controller. I do play on PC, but I play on keyboard and mouse on PC. But yeah, I do play controller on PS5.
What do you prefer?
I like the challenge of mouse and keyboard, having the ability to flick is really nice. I've played with a controller most of my life, so I dare say controller's like what feels like home. But I do enjoy playing keyboard and mouse as well.
Awesome.
So this is my hunter, and this is my hunter's build. So like I was saying before, high mobility because you want that dodge back as soon as possible. Resilience. This has not got that much resilience, just because the way that my hunter's stat rolls are, it's kind of like spec'd into recovery and mobility, and I haven't really got good armor sets to drop. But yeah, so that's on a 3. Like I don't like to go low on resilience just because 120s are a pain at the moment, and it'll allow them to one head 2 body you, and it's that hurts.
Yeah.
Recov, like I said, on 10. My grenade doesn't really matter too much to me on my hunter because I tend to be jumping up and down, running and gunning. Yeah. 7 on my intellect. This can change depending. Like I don't think I have an intellect mod on all my characters on my hunter. Sorry, but most of my armor is spec'd with relatively high intellect. And strength, kind of like half. I'd like to play bottom tree gunslinger with the throwing knife and throwing up people in the face, which is incredibly satisfying. But yeah, same. Like I've got targeting mods, reloaders, fastball. If you're not using fastball, please put it on. The difference between throwing a slow grenade and a fast grenade is light and day. As you can see, I got high energy fire and then taking charge. You can see those two are kind of complementing each other as well. And then I got powerful friends. I don't think I have the charge with light mod on this character just because I didn't have the room. Yeah,
because Stompy has that inherent max your mobility, isn't it? Always like a plus 20 mobility on this. It's like a hidden bonus, isn't it?
So it used to have so traction used to give you a hidden stat bonus of, I think it was 10 mobility, but that's now gone. But I think it's just the movement that it gives you using Stompies. For me, I don't use anything but strafe jump. Like PvE, if I'm doing a jumping puzzle, triple jump will be my savior. But strafe jump for me with Stompies is just light and day of a difference of moving around the map. Like I'm sure you see those hunters that head bounce their hunters across the map, from low ceilings to high ceilings and whatnot. That's something that is really relevant for me when I'm playing a hunter.
Okay.
And then I'll quickly show you my Titan build.
Yeah. Nah, nobody gives a shit about Titan.
We're gonna show it anyway.
Yeah, show it anyway. We got no Titans. We got no Titans on this channel.
We got no Titans in the clan. We banned them all.
Don't worry about the weapons because they're just what I have on Dim. But so this is obviously a bit of ridiculous because it's running Behemoth and the aspects or the fragments that it gives you. Plus 10 recovery. Kind of insane. But same. Resilience mod stacked and discipline. So I've got targeting, hand cannon reloader, always whatever reloader I'm using. Fastball, unflinching with powerful friends, taking charge, same. And then I have high energy fire here. I got radiant light in this as well. So as you can see, mobility, pointless on a Titan, especially on Behemoth. These things move so damn quickly. This, I'd like to be a little bit higher, but it's not that big of a deal for me. This is overkill. I don't know why I have 118 recovery. Yeah, see, it goes back to 100.
Yeah. Okay.
But I think it's just the plus 10 that the fragment gives you.
Yeah.
7 discipline, fantastic with these dust-filled nades that are just absolutely broken. 9 intellect is just the way that my build kind of works. You can see where my intellect's sitting is pretty high, and I like to abuse the intellect here. Strength kind of pointless on a Titan. You don't really need strength. I find strength's really helpful for melees that are not throwable melees, maybe if you're using Burning Maul or Celestial Fire or throwing knife on a hunter. But yeah, that's how I pretty much run my setup 9 times out of 10.
Yeah, he's fucking you've thought of pretty much everything. So where did you get the information of this, or is it just something you played with, tweaked, and gaudy like?
So a bit of both. Like a lot of my what I've learned from this game is watching YouTube videos of like Cool Guy, Fallout, you name it. I've watched a video of it. Like most of my recommended is the same people over and over again. And I think over time I learn realistically what these mods do. I think as soon as you understand what the mod does, then adapting it to how you play makes the biggest difference. I feel like a lot of people kind of just go, oh, there's mods on my character, that's fine. But until you go, my mod does this, and then if it does this, what will it achieve? How will it do that? I guess, if that makes sense. That's the biggest one for me. So when I was like, oh, okay, so if I use the taking charge mod, and then I use the high energy fire mod, it's really, that's going to boost my my damage for my weapons in PvP. Same for the Warmind cell build. Like I absolutely love using the Warmind cell build in PvE, and that's so much fun. Like putting a Warmind cell down, shooting it, suppressing enemies, making my weapons do more damage, and then when I shoot it, like 100 enemies explode. Like, yeah, that's cool. That's really cool.
Because I've just started to go into a Warmind build, and I don't understand why I've never fucking done it before.
Yeah, because once you realize what it does, it changes the way you play straight up.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, coming away from PvP now, state of game. What do you think with Beyond Light, the Witch Queen's coming out, Lightfall's coming out? What do you reckon? Even the expansion of Destiny, as Destiny, the main buildings that these fuckers work in and stuff like that. Do you think the game is going in the right direction? Do you think it's kind of gone off like a tangent that it needs to climb back onto the main line?
It's hard to say. Like seasonal models in Destiny, I don't think work very well. But then I couldn't give you what I thought would be a good model, because I generally don't know. I think the idea that like the way that they've made the seasonal model and then like given everyone the ability to then catch up on things that they've missed, like the biggest pain in Destiny is the FOMO, like the fear of missing out on, I didn't get to play that week. Everyone's got this new gun and I can't get it until next season, like a new exotic that came out. Like I know a lot of people that didn't play much in what was that? When the Warmind build came out, I can't remember the name of that season of the Worthy, maybe.
It was after Worthy.
Season of the Rasputin guy. that season, that public event bullshit was so boring, so boring. And when they came out and they're like, we're going to do a community challenge and you have to get 3 billion balls dunked and this many, I was like everyone just stopped and was like, nah, we've had a mutiny. This sucks. Like, we're not going to play it. Like you got to realistically understand how many people in your player base to realize that they actually want to do this content, because this content sucks.
Yeah. Like
battlegrounds at the moment, boring as batshit. Like moving from area to area and, killing some cabal and killing a boss at the end. Like it's not, they need to change it. They need to change what these new public events or these seasonal events that they have, because it just doesn't work.
At least they've gone away from the dick fucking, because that the season you're talking about, they had the Rasputin things coming out of the ground,
and then you'd throw the balls in the clothesline, and then it just keep going through. Yeah,
and then there was another one where there was taken, and there was another dick shape, and then they had the fucking the Wraithborn thing where they had another dick thing, but it was like fucking skewed off to the side.
Yeah. So
everything is all phallus fucking dick shit. But look, I understand what you're saying, because I was like, at the beginning, I was like, I like Battlegrounds. Battlegrounds is great. And then after the second, Battlegrounds is fucking ass.
It's not just that though. It's just like when it's like all the tiers of the powerful gears locked behind doing 3 of them, and then doing 6 of them, and then doing 9 of them. It's like no one wants to do 9 of these activities in a row, because they're just they're long and they're annoying and they're boring.
Yeah.
Especially when you have that blueberry that just doesn't know what they're doing, and you're just like, mate, you need to stand in this zone to cap it to then, actually unlock the shields of blah, blah, blah. So,
yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I actually don't mind the battle pass, Marv. I think it's good because it gives you like the incentive to get there, but it's
the battle pass is like I agree that battle passes don't work in some games, and I feel like it doesn't necessarily work for people that don't play this game much. Mm-hmm. But to give people the incentive that there's actually extra loot to get, like while doing your normal pinnacles, like the thing with this game, right, is like, what do you chase? You chase the god roll weapons, you chase the god roll armor, and then once you've done that, what is there to do? You want to do an activity that is going to showcase those two things that you've gotten. Otherwise, it's just like, I just keep chasing and chasing. What is there to use it with? I guess.
Yeah.
Well, that's going to be the issue now, because I understand Sunset is a very sore subject, but we've ground for these like high end armor pieces, which gives us like 300s and all that sort of stuff. But once we go into a new season, and then obviously Sunset, our armor pieces can just roll on. We'll just upgrade them to their thing. And so we haven't got really that requirement to grind armor pieces to do the end activity, because we've already fucking got it. When do we turn around and go, oh shit, maybe Sunset and partial Sunset, I need to say, needs to be a thing, because it gives you because veterans are already there. Veterans have already got their fucking armor pieces. When do we turn around and go, well, we've got nothing else to fucking grind for, because nothing's disappearing anymore?
Yeah.
Honestly, I think if they brought in, like, I don't know what these new mods do in the battlegrounds. Like, I picked them up, and I don't know what they do. They might lay like a little orb on the ground that does something, but like that is not interesting to me at all. Like the War Mindset build, nailed it. They're like, all right, this is a new way of playing this game. If they brought that in, but like you needed a specific maybe armor set, or the newer armor set to use it for it to be slotted in, and the say the sunsetted armor took away the slot, that would allow you to socket those perks, that would cause people to be like, I need to get new armor, instead of being like, this is the role that I need. It's like, no, if I don't get this new armor, I won't be able to slot this perk into it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then make those perks like something new, and like bring out new ways of how to play the game, and that will keep people coming in.
Yeah, make it relevant to the armor piece,
We get that with raid armor already. Like, we already get raid specific perks. They're now shared across all the raid armor sets, which is kind of fine. But something like that. Yeah, like you said, a new type of War Mind Cell build for a new set of armor per season to make us want to get that armor, even if we have full 100s. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Savage B. It like we keep turning around and say, like, if you are solo playing this game, get yourself a fucking clan, because it's the guys that you play with. It's the guys. For me, it's the guys that I play with will bring me back to this game over and over again. Like, it's great playing solo, but it's fucking fantastic playing with a whole fucking bunch of people.
Yeah. Solo.
Yeah, because solo's fucking savage. Space friends are the best. No, when you fucking kill us in PvP.
Stomp us into the
ground. Yeah, because that's my concern, is that we will turn around and clutch on the guns that is meta. So Fellwinter's, the Paladrome is fucking strong. The bottom dollar's strong. So now we had the AR meta, and then they kind of go, ooh, the AR meta is too hard. Then we're going to fucking bring that back. Then hand cannons are meta again. Like, it seems that the only way that they change is by nerfing what's good about hand cannons. They become non-meta, and then something else steps up, and that's what they do. They just continuously nerfing weapon.
I think it's not just the nerfing aspect. I think it's they when they tune the sandbox, they tend to over buff certain weapon archetypes. So, say for instance, the 600 RPM auto rifle. Like, what season was that? Whenever Trials first came out, I think it was like probably a year ago now. And the hard light. I'm not sure if you guys remember how dominant the hard light was, and the ricochet rounds off that. Like, that was insane. Like, playing Trials, if you weren't using the hard light, you weren't winning straight away. And to the point where I'd be like around 3 different corners, and I'd get shot with 3 bullets from the hard light, and I'd die because those bullets are now more, they're stronger because they've ricocheted. That so many times. That, like, those metas, the problem is they buff certain weapon archetypes, and they leave everything behind. And then what they do is they just buff another set, and they leave that one behind. So they're still good, but they're just not like highlighted for the current seasonal sandbox. I don't know what that'd be able to do to make it, like, bring them all back in line, but
you can't. You can't though, can you? You can't. You always have to have one. One slightly has to be more powerful. Like, I can't shoot hand cannons. I can't shoot fucking shotguns. I can't. They're just fucking useless. Sidearms, on the other hand, I can hit anything with a fucking sidearm, but there's never been, like, they're still pretty strong. Like, the high elbow is pretty strong, and the lonesome's pretty strong and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Do you suggest to just stick it out with a certain gun? Just power through. Don't fucking get it off. That is the weapon that you're going to use for the rest of your days as a Destiny player.
It depends. If you want to learn how to use a weapon in a certain, in a PvP game mode, for instance, I think it's a good idea to pick up a weapon and then, start with, like, training wheels, for instance. So for anyone that is trying to learn how to use a hand cannon, I think the Crimson is by far the hand cannon on training wheels that everyone should be able to use. Like, it doesn't have recoil. It does a 3-round burst. It heals you when you've gotten the kill. Like, if that's not training wheels, then I don't know what is. But then that allows you to go, okay, what's my range for my hand cannon? I think people become unstuck when they're using new weapons like hand cannons, SMGs, shotguns. They don't understand the range. Like, they know how to shoot someone. It's not hard for them to hit their shots. It's their positioning and the range of their weapons that leaves them unstuck. So, for hand cannons, for instance, like, if I'm using a 140, I can't shoot the same range of a 120, which is like a scout rifle range. I got to pick and choose my engagements wisely. And I feel like when people actively think about that with the guns that they're using, they'll have a much better way of playing. They'll actually see some progression in the way they play.
How would you train that then? Would you check the range out against a wall, or would you just play Crucible, or what's the
play with a new gun and then realize, like, understand what the range drop off damage is. So say for a crit, you can even go to a private match with your mate, be like, I want to play with this new gun. What's the rough range that I need to know how far it is? So say for a 120, just go to a map and be like, stand 40 meters away. They can have the Darcy if they want to actually, like, check the measurement of the weapon, but physically go, this is how far they are, and, like, look to see where they are. And then the next time you're in those engagements in the game, in whatever game mode it may be, you can be like, I know that if I shoot someone from here to here, that it's going to be at full damage and there's going to be no range drop off. And if I shoot any further than that point, you can even set it as like a marker on the map. Say, for instance, I'm standing at A on Widow's Court at the top of the stairs, and I'm looking down to the church, right? I go, anything further than the archway that goes to the church is where the range drop off of a 120 goes to. This is completely, me guesstimating this, so don't take this for gospel. That's where the range drop off is, and anything further than that, I'm going to be hitting lower numbers. So I'm going to need to hit more than 3 crits to get that kill, as well as movement and so all the like.
Okay, that's a really good way of fucking doing it, to be honest.
All right, we're coming towards the end of the show, so.
All right. Oh, I just want to ask for fucking questions.
All right, I'll let you do one more, and
No,
I'll call out to the chat.
no, that's it.
No. I'll call out to the chat quickly and call out a lightning round of questions because they've asked a shit ton, but we've kind of glossed over them. So I'll ask you all on Sebs, and then I'll lightning round the rest.
Well, you made me forget it, haven't you? So, I watched on a YouTube video where a guy turned and goes, "Never use aiming down sights. Always use hip fire." Would you suggest that?
No. It literally goes back to the initial conversation that I had with you just before. So know your range. If they're too close for you to shoot, like aiming down sights, then hip fire is fine. But allow you to have a gap between yourself and the enemy player. But close the gap for using a shotgun. Anything aggressive, shotgun, fusion rifle. I can't think of anything else. Machine gun, sword, whatever. Close that gap. Obviously, the closer you are, the lower the range of those weapons. If you're sniping, however, like biggest tip that I learned, and I think I watched it from Ascendant Nomads, one of his videos, 2-second rule. Holy moly. Like it is, if you're in your scope for longer than 2 seconds, you're doing it wrong because someone else is looking at you. Like look to where you expect them to be. If they're not there, de-scope, look at your radar, look at your like situational awareness of where you are, move, find another angle, find another position, keep moving. It's not like not like Call of Duty or PUBG where you can just sit on the top of a hill in your ghillie suit and just be like, I'm just going to watch this lane and I'll get someone. I don't care how long I have to wait here. Like Destiny is such a fast-paced game that you have to continuously move to actually have an advantage.
Amazing. Okay. Great. That's fantastic. All right, go on and
right. Start shooting questions at me. First one is thoughts on Breakneck.
It could have been better if it was a 600 RPM auto. Like Onslaught, fantastic perk on wrong gun.
Okay. Do you like Luke Smith?
Luke who? No, I'm just kidding. He's all right, I guess. I think this game needs to have more of a community say than a director say, but that's my opinion.
Do you have any tips on shaders that you will use? Do you have any shaders specifically that you pick, or do you just do whatever?
What shaders make you shoot better?
What shaders make you shoot better?
Doesn't matter. A pretty guardian's a stronger guardian. That's how I say it.
Do you play the fashion game? When we were looking at your characters earlier, they were quite well put together.
100%.
Mine look like a fucking trash bag.
If I'm looking like that TP-headed fucking Titan suit that walking around, I'm doing something wrong.
I just got the hunter cloak without the cloak ornament thing, and I put that on my helmet, and I haven't taken it off since. I look like a piece of shit. I love it. With the backwards mask.
If you're an ugly guardian, you're a pretty guardian. If you're anything in between, then just don't worry about it.
It's Jade. Just Jadestone. Just Jadestone. That Gambit Jadestone.
I want that Gambit Jadestone. Alright. I think that's all we got for tonight, guys. Thank you so much for coming on, Cats. That was awesome, and I learned so much.
Well done. Thank you.
We'll have to have you on again soon.
Yeah, we can get you. Like, I think if Trials, if there's obviously these buffs are coming in for Trials and stuff, we'd love to get you on to try and talk us out through Trials and stuff like that. It's been fantastic.
Do you want to plug your stream, Twitter, whatever you do?
Yep. So it's Cat on Twitch. So it's an L. So it's LTS Cat. And my Twitter is the same. I don't have a YouTube channel. There's something I would like to work on potentially in the future. I just don't have time. So come down and check me out.
Absolutely.
Your fellow Aussies.
Absolutely. I love supporting the Aussie scene. I'm going to be going live after this, guys. So stick around if you want, or Kat might be going to stream after this. I'm not sure what his plan is. So always support Aussies. I know I will be.
Guys, like I said, like the thing, go and check his channel out. I put it all on Instagram and stuff like that. It's all over Facebook on my on our little channel on Facebook. Show him some love. Like, subscribe to him and do all that fucking business with Twitch. Cheers, mate. Thanks a lot. It's fantastic to have you on, and we will get you back in. Thank you very much.
All right. See you later.
Fuck you all out.
Peace.